Hello everyone and welcome back to another reaction video. Today we'll be checking out Ahri's Boycotts Got Crazy by Necrit. For the past few weeks we are checking out, or I guess following this news, where League of Legends added a brand new Ahri skin to the game. The catch to that one is that it's more than $500 and FOMO. So basically available only for a limited time while this event is going on, where they, I guess, released the documentary about Faker being the first entry into the Hall of Legends, which we checked out. That was nice. And also we checked out the Necrit's previous video about this new Ahri skin that has multiple tiers and it's engraved into the battle pass, and yeah. So the result of that is people being not happy and deciding to boycott the skin, or I guess the decision, in a way that they will be just banning the champion in the champion select. That's as far as I know. I don't know if there is anything more crazy to this. But yeah, without any further ado, the link to the video will be in the description below, so you guys can go sync it up with me. Go check the Necrit's video first and then come back to see my reaction to it. And yeah, let's just see what is going on.
We all knew that the moment Riot revealed something bad regarding skins, the community would go wild. But what we didn't know is that League's community would be able to accomplish something incredible. They would unite under a single goal.
Okay.
And that is something we're going to talk about today. So, we all know that Riot is on a bit of a streak when it comes to figuring out just how far can they get with their monetization. We've had the expensive legendary and ultimate skins for a while. Sometimes we get ultimate skins with the features of just a legendary skin. But those were something we laughed at, and that's kinda it. Then Riot pushed for the new era of prestige skins for Mythic Essence, which usually went for roughly about $100. Those started to grind some nerves. Then Riot tried to introduce some gacha mechanics, which essentially meant we got new skins for $200, and those were quite successful. Which is why Riot pushed for more of those.
That makes sense.
That's the point people often overlook. Those $200 skins sold well enough that Riot tried it again. And there is a massive reason why those skins sold well. And that is a crucial point for this video.
Okay.
That's right, I know you thought I was just rambling to turn one graph into a 10-minute video. Now of course that is still gonna happen, but that's not really the case this time. So remember, despite the seemingly big outrage there was around the new gacha in League, the reality is it was both a success on the financial side, and even the company's image stayed fine in the end, so nothing really changed. And that's what leads us into the current $500 skin drama. Of course, we talked about this in the previous video, so I don't think we have to explain what the $500 skin is about again. What's important is that a lot of people didn't like it, and a lot of people felt like they were betrayed by Riot. Especially the people who bought all of Ahri's skins, because that's the people who bonded with Ahri's character. Because who wouldn't bond over the lore of sucking the living souls out of your lovers in the middle of the love act because you have a massive hunger for human essence? The lore is actually really cool, I swear. Anyway,
I mean,
if there is one place on the internet where
she's
they
a cool
felt
champion.
like they just really had to act, of course, it was the Ahri mains. And so their community assembled. From the first moment the skin was revealed and the pricing was announced, the Ahri mains started thinking about their next move. And so, 18 days ago, the best way to rebel is to boycott Ahri herself. I think it's atrocious that Riot is pricing a skin bundle that costs half of my paycheck for an entire month. I say let's protest in a way that forces Riot to the negotiating table. All we need to do is ban Ahri every single game. The whales will never get to enjoy the skin if they cannot play the champion. And then Riot will be forced to lower prices. Similar strategies worked for Rise. Let's work to get Ahri ban rate to 100%. See, this was a ridiculous idea on paper. It would need some ridiculous commitment for it to work. It was crazy. just crazy enough for it to work. And the community agreed. That's actually genius. Share to hashtag #PermabanAhri in all related content platforms. Good idea. But can't wait for the mods to notice this post and delete it to protect Daddy Riot profits. I think the problem is that people don't care. They would be, it's just a skin, I don't even play Ahri, I don't care, and so on. But it is worth a shot. Easy way to counter Riot's prices. And so, the community bonded over the idea of a boycott. And what fueled the idea even more was Riot's ability to make fun of themselves. Even though this time they did not do it in the most ethical of ways.
Wait till the Demon King hears about these prices.
By the way, it seems like Riot removed this voice line from the game now.
Okay.
And what's awesome is that it wasn't just the Ahri mains who suffered. All the mains felt the pain, and so, like a cavalry, one by one, they all arrived to lend their helping hand. Even the Seraphine mains. Here, Ahri players, us Seraphine players are
I'm
fighting
sorry,
with
this is
you.
actually a
It was
good
already
storytelling.
mentioned, probably from Sera mains, but we've got your back in it. What's
Okay.
even better, that even some of the whales were not happy about this. As a whale, you Riot. And so a whole new movement has started. Hashtag #PermabanAhri. A movement with a single goal. Every time someone would play a game of League of Legends, there would be the gentleman's agreement that one of them would always ban Ahri. That way, those who had the audacity to buy that atrocity would never have a chance to play that skin.
I'm curious.
Unless they played quick play where there are no bans.
For how
But we don't
many
talk about
percent
that.
the
It was a
ban rate
movement with
increased?
valiant effort. A
That's my
movement
question.
that was met with equal courage. A movement that got about 500 interactions last week. So hashtag #PermabanAhri was worthless. Which is when hashtag #BanAhri arrived on stage with 10,000 interactions.
Actually,
it was a
okay.
simpler, catchier hashtag that actually started pulling off some numbers. And now we've had numerous amazing posts that started circling in the viral territories. Not
Whoa,
only the
okay,
players, but also the creators and the esports personalities started talking about it now. And suddenly, the entire movement started getting some traction, which was even further boosted on the 12th of June, the day the skin was released. And from that point on, only one thing mattered: the results. And not just the first day, but the following few days mattered too. But before those numbers arrived, there is something else that people started noticing. You see, on the 12th of June, besides just the Ahri skin, Riot also officially released the Hall of Legends Battle Pass.
Yes.
The first ever pass that wasn't tied to a skin line or a skin-based event, but rather it was purely based on esports, and specifically it was based on Faker. And from the very first moments, it was obvious that this pass would be a really good deal compared to what we are normally getting. Within the context of all the other passes, it looks really good. And on the day this released, most people agreed that remains to be true. So now, among all the chaos, you had this one bright light. This pass is actually really well put together. It has a whole presentation with immersive elements and animations, and every 5 levels or so you get a bonus video that shows you an iconic moment from Faker's history. It really feels
so?
like you are in a museum dedicated to
That's
Faker,
cool, actually.
which also weirdly makes you feel like you are part of a Faker worshipping cult. Anyway, the point is, the pass is actually really good.
Okay.
And the funny thing about that is that Riot is using embedded YouTube videos in the client to show you those historic moments.
Oh, okay.
So if you find the link to those unlisted videos, you can just watch the final thank you from Faker for finishing the pass. Yeah, I feel special now. So as you can see, not everything was horrible this event. And so there was the risk that since this was good, it could put a dent in the boycott. But now, it's been 3 days, which is still not that long. I would say to get some good numbers, we would need at least 1 full week to see if the boycotts do anything. But already, with only 3 days behind us,
How much?
we got some really interesting data, which actually might be revealing what's happening in the background the entire time. And so, has Riot felt the difference? Was there enough active players that would alter the course of League of Legends? Or at least to send Riot a message? Was there enough players to ban Ahri every game? Well, for context, before the skin dropped, the ban rate for Ahri was about 8%. Now, keep in mind that this game already has about 160 champions. And every game you get about 10 bans. So even 10% is quite high.
So these are
if
different
you average everyone out.
divisions?
So, how much did the community affect this?
Whoa! Actually, impressive.
Well, that can certainly be considered a dent. Now, as cool as this graph looks, it needs some context. First of all, the data shown here is how different ranks banned Ahri.
Yeah,
That's
okay,
why
I
the
thought
blue
so.
line actually tilts down at the end. That's all the players in Diamond and above. So it's all the people who had their fun with banning, but then they got back to just grinding ranked. Also, they technically represent about 1% of the player base. So the more accurate way to show the data would be this. This is a single line that shows us the average ban rate across all the ranks, which should be in line with how many games were played. And here you can see that it jumped from about 8.4% all the way to 21% ban rate, which means it more than doubled. With the highest ban rates being in Platinum and Emerald, where it peaked at 24%. That is a ban for Ahri every 4th game. Now, to be honest, for a League of Legends community, that is impressive. Even more so because, remember, there is a lot of games of League of Legends played every day.
Yeah, I was just thinking,
most
like,
people
how
don't
many?
watch the drama on the internet. So to see a dent in the numbers this big from the general player base is very unusual. Now, the reason why this feat was so easily pulled off, however, is because technically you only need 1 out of the 10 people in every game to do this. That's right, for these boycotts, only 1 person needs to ban Ahri. So there was already an advantage. However, as cool as the graph looks, there is something important to be mentioned here. This is the global data. Of course, different regions would participate in different ways. For example, EU West is holding the line. Here in Europe, the ban rate is about 35%, which is insane. Of course, NA also likes to complain about everything, so they too are at 32%. So overall, the West is standing together in this boycott. But of course, when you look at this skin, while it is being sold everywhere, it's not really aiming at the global audience. It's not really the West specifically this skin is targeting, is it? I mean, we're talking about Faker with an esports event that is rooted around Korea, with League of Legends esports being by far the biggest in Korea, with some of Riot's largest income also coming from
what is the graph for that?
As in, it might not even be comparable. I mean, why do you think we keep getting the Lunar Revel skins and Spirit Blossom and we have all the other Eastern themed skins that just keep coming back? They are doing well. That's why they keep coming back. And that's because the East likes to pay for their games a lot more than the West. That is simply a fact about the gaming industry. And so the question now is, how did all of this look on the other side of the world? What do they think about this skin? Well, Vietnam, Thailand, and even Japan are all united. They are all soaring around the 20 to 30% ban rate, which is great, but those can hardly be called the bigger audiences. At least, not compared to Korea, where hardly anything happened. See, Ahri was roughly at a 5% ban rate before the skin launched. And then when it did, she jumped to impressive 9%. which means that some people joined the boycott, but for the most part, it seems like their player base doesn't really care. I mean, Ahri had higher ban rate weeks before we even learned about the existence of this skin. So it seems like bad balancing matters a lot more than bad pricing over there. Which also means, yeah, this skin might do well. Because the audience this skin is directly targeting is fine with it. Or at least that seems to be the case according to these numbers. I don't actually see into the Korean social media, so if anyone does, let me know what it looks like over there. Anyway, there you have it. That's really why the situation is so bittersweet. In the West, the community clearly managed to send a message. People really think this kind of
you also
pricing
need to
is
think
extremely
that,
aggressive.
And that's this is basically on Reddit, which was in English, right?
It is still unbelievable such a big portion of the player base
There is also a language gap.
It is honestly quite amazing to see. But unfortunately, the skin is still bound to do well. Which means all of this will come back again next year. At the end of the day, as I mentioned in the last video when we talked about this, try to look at the brighter side of this, because that's all we can really do. I mean, it is just a skin. And thankfully, it is not ruining the gameplay. And if you feel like it does for you, just keep in mind that all the people who bought this skin are probably getting bullied in-game. But more on that, with Riot revealing that League of Legends is getting a Vampire Survivor-based game mode, it seems like the money they get is not actually going towards new mansions. League is building new things for the free-to-play audiences. And when Riot drops one of these bigger pieces of drama, all the stakes are always on the next thing. Will it be good enough for people to forget the bad thing? Or will the company's reputation take a hit? What probably didn't help is that Riot also released a physical statue of that skin for only $300.
Well, collector's edition it is. Okay. I will still say impressive. The numbers did raise up quite high, more than double, and yeah, I don't know. As I mentioned in the reaction to the skin, right? Personally, currently, I am not that invested in the game that I would actively care that much about it. The only thing that I personally don't like is that it's FOMO, so only available for while this event is going on, and then it won't be anymore. To me, that is like very, it's smart marketing strategy to get all the money from all the players, because the skin won't be available anymore, right? And with that is the only thing that I disagree with, or I guess think it's stupid. The skin in general looks amazing, yes, but I don't need to buy it, right? So it's nice to see that the community can come together and do actually quite a number on this. But yeah, for those that actually didn't read anything on social media, or they don't care, this just flew by them like a wind. So yeah, I don't know. We will see how this will affect more things in the future. But if there is anything else from these that I am personally actually excited for, is the new game mode that I didn't know that is coming, or I guess is in the makings. Vampire Survivors game mode in League of Legends? Sign me up! So yeah, just a random thing here that I didn't know here. So yeah, let me know what you think in the comments below. If you like this one, give it a thumbs up, leave a comment down below with your thoughts on it. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, click that bell for notifications to be informed of my next reactions, gameplays, reviews and other things you guys put in the comments below for me to check out. And I will see you in the next one. Bye!